What if Dragon Ball Z Villains 1? The full breakdown. Welcome to the darkest timeline, a reality where every desperate struggle, every last-ditch effort, and every heroic sacrifice was completely pointless. Worse, each failure only paved the way for an even greater horror. This is the story of a universe where hope dies, and the villains finally get their way. We've all wondered what might have happened if just one thing went differently, if one hero fell when they should have stood. But what if they all fell? What if one villain's victory created a horrifying domino effect that consumed everything? One wish, that's all it took. On the dying planet of Namek, one single wish was all that stood between the universe's survival and its utter damnation. In the timeline we know and love, Goku became a Super Saiyan and finally stopped the tyrant Frieza. But in another darker reality, Frieza's wish wasn't the end, it was just the beginning. Our story kicks off in the final, desperate moments on Namek. Goku is battered, Vegeta is gone, and Gohan and Krillin are hanging on by a thread. But before Goku can find the rage to trigger his legendary transformation, Frieza's plan actually works. He gets his hands on all 7 Namekian Dragon Balls, the sky darkens, and the Dragon Purunga grants his one universe-shattering wish, immortality. And just like that, the fight is over. It's not even a contest. An immortal Frieza feels no pain and never gets tired. Goku's Spirit Bomb, a firecracker against a mountain. The tyrant toys with the last heroes, savoring their despair before snuffing them out one by one. There's no golden-haired warrior to save the day. With a final, contemptuous laugh, he obliterates planet Namek, erasing any evidence of his wish. Next stop, Earth. A planet he now knows is basically a nursery for the Saiyan race he hates so much. Without Goku, Vegeta, or Piccolo, Earth's defenders are scattered and wiped out almost instantly. Frieza doesn't destroy the planet, though. Oh no, he subjugates it, turning it into a monument to his ultimate victory and a source of slave labor for his expanding empire. For years, this is the new normal. The Frieza Force, led by an unkillable emperor, is the only real power in the universe. Entire galaxies fall under his thumb, not with the chaotic destruction of someone like Buu, but with the cold, calculating cruelty of a galactic CEO whose only business is fear. The androids never show up. Dr. Zero wouldn't dare activate his creations against a foe who literally cannot be killed. Broly never becomes a threat. There is only the chilling, silent, and eternal order of Lord Frieza. But even in this oppressed universe, a ghost from a lost timeline keeps working. Hidden deep underground on Earth, Dr. Gero's supercomputer continues its single-minded mission: create the perfect warrior. It gathers cells from the fallen Z fighters and, crucially, from Frieza and King Cold. Eventually, its masterpiece is born into a world with no heroes left. The monster cell emerges. His main goal is to absorb androids 17 and 18 to become perfect. In this timeline, the androids might have been activated and run wild for a bit, but they'd be completely unprepared for Cell. With no Trunks to warn them and no Vegeta or Piccolo to stop him, Cell achieves his goal with terrifying ease. He finds the androids, absorbs them, and in a flash of blinding light, he is born. Perfect Cell. But his perfection creates a problem. Cell's whole reason for existing was to test his power against Goku. But Goku is a ghost, a martyr, erased by the immortal Emperor years ago. For a while, Cell is an engine without a purpose. He unleashes his Cell Juniors to terrorize Earth, but it's just not satisfying. His Saiyan cells crave a real challenge. His Frieza cells demand dominance, and so he sets his sights on the only being in the universe worth his time, the immortal Lord Frieza. The showdown is legendary, but shockingly brief. Frieza, arrogant in his immortality, can't even comprehend a power that rivals his own. He can't be killed, sure, but Cell's unique biology offers a terrifying loophole. He doesn't need to kill Frieza, he just needs to absorb him. In a final, desperate struggle, Cell's tail envelops the immortal tyrant. He doesn't just defeat Frieza, he consumes him, integrating Frieza's immortality into his own perfect form. Now Cell isn't just perfect, he's perfect and immortal. The universe simply trades one tyrant for another, far more terrifying one. Cell's reign isn't one of cold order, it's one of perpetual, bloody sport. He rebuilds the Cell games on a galactic scale, teleporting to planets and forcing their champions to fight him for fun before absorbing them to add to his power. The universe becomes a hunting ground for a monster who can't be beaten and will never, ever be satisfied. Centuries pass under the shadow of the immortal Cell games, but while Cell is distracted by his endless tournament, an ancient evil finally arrives. The wizard Babidi and his demonic partner Dabura land on a planet they believe is ripe for the taking, looking for energy to revive the primordial entity of destruction, Majin Buu. They find a universe literally overflowing with the energy of fear and suffering, the perfect fuel for their master. Cell, intrigued by these powerful newcomers, sees them as his next great playthings. He confronts Dabura, and their battle is catastrophic, but Babidi is smart. He realizes he doesn't need to defeat Cell, he just needs to use him. As Cell unleashes his full, unimaginable power against Dabura, Babidi's energy meter fills in an instant. The sealed ball cracks open, and from a plume of pink smoke, the final domino falls. Majin Buu is reborn. Cell, even with his perfection and immortality, is not ready for this. He is a being of science and biology. Buu is a being of pure, lawless magic. Buu doesn't fight to prove he's the strongest, he fights for the simple joy of destruction. Their battle is short and brutally one-sided. Buu's regeneration is absolute, and his power is completely unpredictable. In a horrifying twist, the ultimate consumer becomes the consumed. Majin Buu absorbs immortal perfect Cell. This is the end of everything. What emerges is a being of absolute, unimaginable horror. A Majin Buu who has his own terrifying magic and regeneration, but now combined with the genetic knowledge of every great fighter, the cold cruelty and immortality of Frieza, and the adaptive perfection of Cell. He isn't just a threat to the universe anymore. He's the universe's final chapter. He doesn't want to rule. He only wants to consume. He turns the Supreme Kais into candy, destroys the other world for a quick laugh, and begins a systematic, gleeful erasure of every single galaxy. There's no Vegito to challenge him. There's no Spirit Bomb to gather hope from a universe that has none left to give. There is only Majin Buu, alone, giggling to himself as he blows up the final star in an empty, silent cosmos, until a Xeno from another reality is forced to erase this entire timeline from existence just to stop the cancer from spreading. In this darkest of all timelines, the chain reaction was unstoppable. Frieza's victory meant no heroes were left to stop Cell. Cell's reign of terror created the perfect breeding ground for Majin Buu's revival, and Buu's awakening consumed everyone and everything, including the villains who came before him. Each villain's victory was just a stepping stone for the next, a horrifying escalation that led to total cosmic annihilation. In the end, it wasn't a single villain who won. It was the very idea of evil itself. But what do you think? Could any hero have stopped this catastrophic domino effect? Is there a point where things could have been saved? Let me know your theories in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this trip into the darkest timeline, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring that bell so you don't miss our next dive into the world of Dragon Ball. Thanks for watching.